Hello, hello, hello out there. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Backyard Barbecue Podcast. I am your host, Eric Cool Breeze. And I have back with me this week some of you guys' most favorite guest, which is now graduated from guest to co-host of her own little segment, which will be Chris's Kink's Corner. So she'll be talking to you all about all of the wonderful sex world questions and comments that you all have. I can't answer some of the stuff that she got. So this will be her segment. She will be here once a month, and I will let you all know in advance what days she will be, or the week that she will be in, so that you can get your appropriate questions together. And I will be providing you all an email so that you can email her, even if you have to do it anonymously for those of you who are, hey, probably some of your friends, they probably don't care. I don't know. People around the world, they probably don't care either.
No.
And also, starting this episode, this will also air on YouTube. So those of you who are YouTube fans, you can tune in, Backyard Barbecue Podcast, and you'll see all of the streaming episodes from not only these particular podcasts, but the podcasts that I do by myself that are maybe a little bit shorter. They might be 10 to 15 minutes, 30 minutes or so. But I don't want to spend another minute of my time on her time, so.
You're fine. You're fine.
So I'm going to hand this little thing over to her so she can talk to you all about whatever, and then I'm going to ask some questions that you all, and feel free to ask whatever questions that you want. I can see them in the comment section, and, hopefully now if you put them up after, an hour or so, then just know that
They can inbox me.
Yeah, you can inbox her, but we won't be replying, obviously.
Okay. So, thank you for having me here. I look for every reason I can to bring kink to Black people, to queer people, to just anyone, actually. So I really kind of thought about what I was going to do this first session. So I think I have to first probably say what kink is and probably what it ain't.
Yeah.
Kink is like a really big umbrella term. So kink is anything from simple things like it's everything non-traditional.
Okay.
And I'll normally use the word vanilla, excuse me, but that's what's going to always pop out my mouth first. So vanilla would be traditional. So anything that is just, you have missionary, you have just normal sex positions. That's sex. We're going to add kink by maybe a spanking. So maybe when they was like, you all was having sex in a doggy style position, you got spanked. We have now added a kink component. Or maybe you got blindfolded, or maybe you asked them to choke you a little bit. So these are light ways that we can bring kink into our life. And then it's more bigger ways to do kink, where you're like in dungeons and you're into BDSM, which is underneath kink, and you like have a dominant, or you're a submissive, or we have heightened the level of kink. You're into blood and knives and all types of different things. And you can also do kink outside of sex, which is most important to me, is our ability to learn to move from traditional ways of intimacy and connection in sex, which is just, we give a little head. We then, man's penis gets hard. Okay, now it's time for sex. Somebody comes, it's over. That linear model is one we are really working to get away from, because we want to be able to orgasm and have pleasure well beyond the ages of our vagina and penis working.
Gotcha.
Because it dries up. It's not as great. It's not as pliable. It's not, it's a lot of things happening. And it doesn't always get erect either.
Right.
So we want to be able to, how do we have pleasure later in life, and kink is what will bring us pleasure later. And so it's learning how to be kinky even beyond sex. You don't even need anything penetrative, anything in any capacity of oral or nothing to have kink, to have climax, and to have pleasure. So that's what I'm going to help us kind of move through.
Okay. So obviously this isn't a 1 hour conversation.
Oh, no.
Clearly.
No, it's just my life's work. So no,
Right.
we will not. No, not at all.
This falls into the, for those of you who was tuned in the last time she was here, this falls into the 6 PhDs that she got. And, well, let me not comment. I got chewed up the last time that I tried to say some of her accolades. So
Because what matters, like, for sure. Like, all of the education stuff is what puts me in the room with the others. Mm-hmm. That's real talk. Like, I need to be able, like, as a Black person and as a person of and a woman, it is not easy for me to walk in certain rooms and be respected, or say my research is valid, or my thoughts even make sense, or they're valid. So you gotta, like, bring degrees, and you have to bring research, and you got to bring certifications out the ass to kind of make it work.
I get it. My part was just jokes, but I know that there's some people out there that might be wondering, like, why do you need a degree in sex? Because it goes, like you said, beyond just penetration, and
For sure.
There's obviously has been years, even before our modern day century, where
Well, no, we've only been studying the clitoris for 20 years. So
see, I'm crazy.
our pleasure has never been prioritized or valued or mattered.
So back in, like, I hate to say ancient days, but let's just say, like, during your...
Like in your grandparents. You can go to your grandparents.
No,
we
I'm
got to go
going,
that
like,
far
way
back.
back.
We need to go that far back. We have only studied male anatomy. We understand that there is a female body that makes babies, and our bodies have always been for the idea of making babies and for man's pleasure. The idea of studying women's pleasure, women's anatomy, we're about 23, 22 years in of that. It's not been our priority. It's never.
So basically, when you started this little educational journey,
we was brand new.
It was just coming into the forefront.
Yeah, we was brand new in studying women. We which is amazing. Like, it's funny. My whole life has always been, like, I've always been exploratory and asked a lot of questions and cared about, like, women in our bodies and what feels good and what makes sense, and the odd and different has always intrigued me. On the research side, though, like the official side, that side has not been as long as I've been here.
So how many, because I hear a lot of times people have failed marriages because of sex.
Yeah,
so how
that makes
many of those that you would say probably could have been maybe saved if they knew more about sex, and just, because obviously, I think we discussed before, the same old routine, hey, I put it in, you say, ooh, you fake it a little bit. Obviously, that gets old after a while.
Yep, a lot.
So.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I mean, so here we go. I'm going to give you some numbers to help answer your question. So
Okay.
we have what's called the pleasure gap. So the pleasure gap would say that 95% of heterosexual men orgasm.
Okay.
Fair, makes sense. Yep. 95%. You know what percent of heterosexual women orgasm during sex?
I want to say like 5.
Might as well. It's 65%. So that 30%. So why do we have women not orgasm? And then let me add, lesbian women are orgasming at an 87% rate. And then gay men are orgasming at about 93%. So how is it that we have heterosexual women not at a 30% difference between all other types of people? Clitoris. Because we also know that 3/4 of women do not orgasm from penetrative sex. So most women fake it. I'm saying it. It's just it feels good. It doesn't mean it creates orgasm.
Right.
And that's a different thing. And of course, protecting egos and it never, our pleasure never being prioritized. Well, then when you done, I guess it's over. That's it. It ends. So we stuck. And of course, so at some point, I would think, well, she don't want to have sex no more. She ain't coming from it.
Right.
It's only for you. So why do
I
want
to work without a paycheck?
Yeah, like why I want to keep doing this. So at some point, this relationship should suffer.
Right.
Because he tired of asking and her just laying there. But she like, well, I'm just laying here because this ain't for me no way. So what you want me to do here? It ain't for me.
That makes sense.
So if we could learn how to, even in just sex, how to make sex not so linear, not so, again, give a little head. I think she's warmed up. We're good and great, even though that's not how that works. So, and then I'm penetrating, then I'm come, and then it's over. We have to switch even that whole model.
What would you say would be the beginning? Like me, I've always told, and of course this is the, no PhD or schooling about sex. Joking but serious. Like I always tell guys, like from a smaller aspect, men, we don't, because of the way that we think, we view sex kind of as a one-way street a lot of times.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, it's just, hey, I need some, lay down, let me get that, and try to get yours in while I get mine in. But like for me, it might be more of even during the day. Like most men, they don't even, hey, I'm just thinking about you, because women are emotional. And so.
Well, not emotional. I want to use a different word. I want to use word contextual.
Okay.
Like men are not, men have more spontaneous, like you have a spontaneous arousal pattern.
Right.
So it takes nothing for you to wind blew and I'm ready.
Yeah.
Like,
well, as a woman, you need to build it up.
You had context.
Right.
So I need to know maybe the house was clean, or maybe you were speaking to me really nicely, or maybe, we had a good day. I got a rate, like context. We need all of the contextual things to have a space. And then it allows for me to be responsive to desire. So men are way more spontaneous. Women are way more responsive.
Right.
And so you have to get us aroused, and it don't happen likely normally because you gave head for a few minutes. Please,
right.
That's not
especially when you've been getting on my nerves all day.
And what's weird and happens a lot with men, if she's enjoying the head, that does not mean stop. Oh, she's ready because she's enjoying it. Time for me to put the penis in.
Right.
Pause. Wait a minute. So it's no longer about her. It became now about you. Like, oh, okay, she's ready for me. No, she was just ready for her. Like she was fine.
To keep enjoying the experience.
She was fine in her moment. You just ruined her whole little moment because it became about your penis. And so we have to just move away from that being the only. And that's just a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure on the penis to me. Like that it has to always, because what happens, and fairly what we also know in relationships, men stop sex in relationships over time in long-term relationships because their penis stops working. So what if the penis wasn't the most important thing for pleasure in any of the parties involved? Right. What if, now let's go back to kink, what if we had other ways to bring pleasure, to bring that same feeling you had in them 9 to 12 minutes of sex into a kinky experience?
So back to, I guess that point. So what's for the most basic person, the most basic couple, what would that look like? Like where could they start exploring things on a small level to
each other's body, mutual, like masturbation.
Okay.
Simple things like literally like knowing pressure, knowing temperature of bodies, knowing does she like the room a particular number, like where is she most comfortable and not able and gonna be in her head, like what keeps her grounded right here, what's the difference from her arm to her thigh to her kneecap to her elbow, like do I know all of those points? From some on her arm, she like fingertips, but if I'm on her thigh, she wants more pressure and I'm using my palm more. Like these are things that we could know and just take time to learn bodies, because there is a lot that happens in touch. Like so basically what you're saying is actually
sit down and do an experiment with each other.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we call it sensate focus work. You can also do something as simple as just sit together like in Indian style and go naked. Like, can y'all be that vulnerable? Even with couples don't like to be at least not in my office. They suck it. When I give this assignment, when they go home, they like, we couldn't do it.
Oh, I was about to ask you.
Not in my office, not physically in my office.
Okay,
it's a concept
just
we
for
talk
the people
about.
out there that was wondering.
No,
too.
no, not in my license. That's no clutches pearls. No.
Can you do that in your office?
No,
like,
no.
okay.
No. There would be no nudity. No, we will talk about all the things. I am very clear in my language. I say all the words.
Right, I'm saying like if
But don't take your clothes
can someone of your stature actually do that?
No.
Okay.
I can't. But so we have different, like we have cuddle people who like cuddle professionals. We have surrogate coaches. Surrogate coaches do physically have sex with clients.
Really?
Because they're a surrogate. That their job is to help you learn to connect. And I know a couple really good surrogates. So it is a thing. They are not licensed people. They do not sit under like a licensing board. They do not have the same ethical like APA. Nobody technically guides them. But they are sexual surrogates who do the work of creating intimacy, connection, communication, helping you get ready for a partner outside in like real life.
So I know a lot of people got questions about this because this is
Okay.
like a legal paid prostitute in a sense.
Well, yeah, no, like
So you understand it because it's your profession, but for
Yeah.
those of us who just heard
because
this,
the
like,
legal, because a sex worker is not there to the sex is like a byproduct. The important part is the emotional, the communication, learning how to express need, getting over, especially like people with a lot of disabilities who really struggle with connection and receiving touch and feeling value and all of these things.
Okay.
So sexual surrogates are not like, you don't just
So
call
this ain't like somebody like after the club. You be like, hey,
no.
What you doing?
No.
Like,
This is regular. Like they have weekly appointments, and it's not always sex. Sometimes you learn to lay with somebody. Like they just are. They have the capacity to touch, but they don't have like these are, and they're pretty expensive. Like they cost more than sex workers because they actually are trained at least in a lot. They do have a mental health background.
Okay.
They just do some other stuff. I do
So I
have
got
a couple coaches that also touch. Again, like they are more like maybe tantric or sex doulas or those different types of people. They touch, but they also are not licensed. They do not fall under. Yeah, so we talking in my office.
So I got another question for the people because I know the questions that they got.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm going to answer them.
So how does one get into this? Like
Into which part?
if they want to be
I don't know how to be
Sexual
one. I could. I mean, sex doulas.
what are they called technically?
Well, sexual surrogates is one.
Okay, sexual surrogates.
You can be a sex doula. You can be.
Are those two both the same?
They're similar. Sex doulas are a little less grounded in the mental health part, and are more grounded in like energy, embodiment, tantric practices. Some of those things.
But to be clear, there is education behind this. This isn't just something that you could just sign up for because I know some of y'all.
No, and it's pretty costly to go through some of these certifications to do these things. Like, but sure, you can do it. I went the regular route.
I'm glad I answered all you guys' questions that didn't ask them in the actual comments, but I know that y'all was asking. I know some people get laid off work. They like, hey, I can go and do that.
Yeah, you could. I mean, if you laid off, I don't know who's gonna pay for it.
Right.
But yeah, it is
that's why I wanted to ask the educational part because people would think like
it's a lot of training.
They'll be in your inbox now that they know that you're gonna be on here every month.
It's a lot of training. I mean, it's costly. Like I'm doing a certification in Costa Rica under an institute that does a lot of that stuff. So they train for sex doulas, they train for pleasure coaches, they train for orgasm, like a whole bunch of stuff they do. But it is nice and costly. It's not. It's not for the weak at heart.
Yeah, it ain't just the CNA sign.
No. Yeah. But it's worth. I think if you are comfortable in your body already, and if you are invested in other people's pleasure and your own, of course, but definitely wanting to make sure it's about others' pleasure.
Right.
That's the difference. Then yes, sex workers just want to get paid. It's technically still for them.
Right.
Sexual surrogates are actually only invested in the other person. It has nothing to do with them.
Wait a minute. So you have sex workers and then you have sexual surrogates.
Yeah.
So sex workers work inside the.
A sex worker is a prostitute.
Oh,
or how
okay. So
guys
you just
would call
talking
a
about
prostitute.
okay. I thought you were saying like
The
this
better
is
word
a
to
legal
use.
part of the services too.
Better word is a sex worker. That is a more encompassing.
Okay, like
better word.
Janitor and custodian, engineer. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, we playing with words now.
We've
been appropriate.
Okay. I'm going to try to keep my inappropriate comments. Okay, so we got sensual touch.
So yeah, we can do that. I think mutual masturbation is another good way to connect. I think often people do solo masturbation, of course, like, and it's kind of secret, quiet when somebody leave the house and everybody gone. Like, I ain't let them. Like, you might know your mate play with themselves. You've seen the toys in the nightstand, but it doesn't mean you're present or it's something you guys do together.
Right.
And so you guys could do some mutual masturbation together. Whether it's you are getting each other off or just learning how each other, like, what do you do? I want to know how you stroke your penis. I want to know, like, what that looks like and, you know, like, how long does it take and how do you switch hands? And you should want to know, like, what position I'm laying in and am I touching my body in a particular way? Like, where do I tend to touch? And am I slower with my fingers? Is it faster? Do I even use my fingers? Do I only use toys? Like, we should pay attention so we could, you know, provide the same pleasure. We want our partner to have pleasure. So next question is another question from the people. Okay.
Now, in the, I guess this goes into the therapy part of it.
Okay.
What if we're sitting here and we're trying this masturbation, but see, I've never told you that I'm really thinking about Bobby instead of you. So
yeah,
where do we go from that? Because if I think about you, maybe
you don't think she's thinking about somebody too. But
I mean, Bobby could be thinking about Christina, and
I would hope fantasy has a place in relatigeships.
Okay. Now, I know that, but I was trying to get you to get to that point.
Yeah, I would hope. So before we even can do sex, then that takes us back to how do we communicate? How do we trust? Like, are we even connected enough for me to share to you that I think about Bobby? Because I would hope it's safe enough for me to go, oh my God, babe, I woke up from this dream. Guess who was in it? The neighbor. He was drilling me and la 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 la, whole thing. Like, I would hope we could do that, and that fantasy belongs. And you can say, well, really, well, what happened? Like, did I walk in? Was it just us? Was it you? Who the kids? Like, I would hope, if that space isn't there, because we all have fantasies.
Right. And see, that's what I was asking, because see, in my individual podcast,
it ain't about your partner.
Right. I always started off with a place where, you know, people can be real with themselves. So in this, with sexual relationships, I feel like it's the same thing. Like, you have to be, you know, in a place where you're comfortable enough. And so does that place start from, you know, from a professional standpoint? Does it start from me even getting to the point where I tell you if I am insecure, like, I don't know if I can handle that, and if I can't, then how do we get to that point where we're comfortable enough to be in a safe space?
So those are just simple conversations, like, what went well in our sex last week? What would you have liked more of? Is there a way you would like me to touch you differently that you've been thinking about? Like, I would hope, even on a regular Monday, like, we actually are just communicating and checking in around our bodies, or how are you feeling in your body? Like, is there anywhere like you're uncomfortable? Like, are you feeling fat this week? And you want me to like check in. So when we have sex and I touch that fat spot, you don't like get so uncomfortable. You lose the moment. And you like, and now you thinking about, I should be working out. I shouldn't have ate this. And now you ain't even in the sex no more because he didn't touch that spot that was fat. So we have to be able as partners to hold regular, everyday, Monday conversations about not just how was your day, but how did I do you? Like, how would you like me to? Has it been some ways in which it hasn't been working? Like, are you orgasming? Like, have you faked it? Like, what do you need from me? If we not really having those conversations, then we don't need to go to Kink or nothing else. Hell,
and that's what I wanted to,
Yeah, we messed up here.
So somebody had a question. They said, you might have answered this already. They said, are there sex therapists that teach patients one-on-one how to be better at sex? Which I think.
How to be better at sex. So I am a certified sex therapist. That is my only thing I do is sex therapy. Do we teach about how to be? So we teach how to connect to breath, how to connect to body, how to be present, how to understand who you are in terms of like styles to arousal, desire, pleasure. Those conversations come up. We connect it to stories around messages that you might have heard or scripts that you have like that rotate through your mind that kind of enables you from being the self you want to be, this ideal self. So we have those conversations. Am I telling you how to arch your back? No. That part didn't come. I hope you would Google that one, but because Google is my bestie, so I always tell people Google is it. Like if you want to know some like tricks and stuff. But we do talk about how to be directly connected to your body, and if it's individual, yes, we hold those conversations. If that answers the question.
Well, caller, I hope that answered your question.
If not, please say more or I'll give more.
Okay. Porn in connection to sex.
Yeah. Porn
so
sucks. But not for reasons people think it sucks. But porn is it has only one type of labia, one type of clitoris, one type of body, one type of guy. It is the most unauthentic version of how sex and it literally goes directly into the model that us in our field work to avoid, which is again some head, some penetration. She's supposed to make a bunch of noise and then it's over because he came. So in that regard, I hate porn. If just for that reason alone, but also porn is wonderful if you can, there's nothing wrong with porn. I wish we had other body types. I wish we had other ways in which we looked at pleasure in porn, but it is what it is.
I think the porn sites they got now, you probably could get any body type you want.
You could Google just to like put anything in that search engine
Right.
at this point. Some of the things I've heard, people like, you search what? That's a thing? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm with the shit. Like, I didn't know that was a thing. Yeah, all of it, for sure. But still, those women still tend to have one type of vagina. It's when you see one vulva presentation for the most part.
When you say one type of vagina.
One type of vulva. Let me be clear. You can't even see the vagina.
Okay,
you
well,
see the vulva. So the labia, you see the clitoris, the labia. There is a particular fold and look. You don't see a lot of. Yeah, the idea that big clits are its own section is problematic. There are 1,000 versions of a clitoris, and so you have 99% of the quote unquote the ones in porn. The lips kind of nicely fold over the clitoris, and it really only kind of protrudes after it's kind of been aroused some. It's small. It's cute.
So like
really
in a barbershop, they have like a chart with all the type of different haircuts you can get. Like, do you have a chart with?
Yeah,
all
I
the
do. I have a book. It's actually a book in my office that sits on my desk.
Really?
Where you can. I have a penis book and a vulva book where you can see all it. Because I really want women to. Because it's a lot of shame that happens with a lot of women in porn. And hell, men like, damn, my penis definitely it don't do that. It's not that. I was looking at it this morning, and then I don't think that's what it was.
I tried to get it there, but
I tried. It
didn't want to.
It just didn't do it. It just didn't do it at all. I even Googled penis pumps. It didn't matter. But no, it is on my desk for sure. All of the ranges and types and how they look, because we should. Yeah, we should see the variations of them and a natural norm and go, look, yours is here. It's not, yours ain't weird or different, or, you shouldn't be a special section. Like, you're regular.
And I guess that's the ignorance because I mean, well, so I've I got kids, so obviously I've had more than one mate, but, man,
it's okay.
That's, I just never seen that many. Well, no, I've definitely haven't seen more than 1,000, but just to know that there's that many variations.
I have a lot of variations, and I wish porn displayed them in a more natural way.
And I guess for a man, that's kind of like ignorance on our behalf too, because, I guess it goes back to your original point, because you never really, especially like, probably, most of my sex was in my 20s, but, you don't be trying to see what it looked like. You just be like, hey, I like you, you're cute, I'm about to, and
that's it.
That's
it. And considering the struggles that women have with penetrative orgasm, I would hope, but it is what it is.
I think probably early on, everybody's trying to just find themselves in sex, I don't know if it's like that for women. Men probably don't care about finding themselves in sex, especially in their 20s, because we just, and if you're going to let us...
Well, those are the scripts, again. Those are the norms and ideas, whether it's religion or upbringing or something, and how we're conditioned and taught in terms of our bodies and how our bodies can be, and if we can be nude, and what pleasure looks like for us, and, what our bodies are supposed to do for other people. Yeah, it's not, we're trying to find, I just think we are living what we've been programmed to do.
Yeah.
Until you come to my office and do it different.
You brought up religion. How many religious people do you see? Because, like, I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, and
shit.
Yeah. They had this, it was so, like, when you talk about a disconnect, because sex isn't something that is talked about in that particular arena. And it was like, they had this book back in the early 90s, and they were so proud of this book. This little blue book. It's called Young People Ask Answers That Work. And so instead of talking to your kid, they had every topic that they thought that, it will cover. And then, oh, you want to know about sex? Okay, chapter 17 talks about
you got
sex.
A paragraph.
And and it might be 2 pages. And it was like, okay, because see, all of these people really were, like I had a friend of mine on here about a month ago. We both grew up, our parents was both a part of the organization. And it was like a lot of the stuff that we were going through, they didn't even understand, because they didn't grow up Jehovah's Witnesses. They would celebrate Christmas, birthdays, and then they really didn't know how to answer us. So it was, the explanation of sex of what they normally would have given us was not what the organization gave. So even with other religions and religious people, is that something that's really difficult for people to explore within those communities?
Religion is a huge backdrop for most clients in some capacity. And we go over all of those scripts and lessons and ideas and ways to be and how you were trained to be. I've just heard some things for sure. Like I think about this couple. They were both virgins until they were 32 when they got married. They had never done 32.
Jeez.
And so, of course,
let's have a moment of silence. Okay.
They were highly religious, and the church, of course, convinced them to wait for sex. And when you get married, sex is going to be great. You can do what you probably do everything. And the bed is undefiled and and all of these great things. But a woman having sex for the first time at 32 is going to hurt. It is going to hurt.
Man, that thing got to be like...
It is going to hurt badly and be uncomfortable. And that
32 years?
You have that hurt. So now the brain goes, oh, nope, that hurt. So now it's like this feedback. Like muscles are tightened, brain is now anxious. Anxious makes everything more tight again.
The brain got to be thinking that you ain't never going to get none.
Right, this system not working at all. And so they don't masturbate because masturbation is bad too.
Yeah.
Like that's just all off the table. So like it's all of these ideas happening where they're not, sex is not at all. So now this marriage is going through the shit because religion gave them messages of how and what would happen once they got married, and it is nothing like that. It's not you swinging from chandeliers and you guys about to just be rocking and rolling every day. Like it's just not. That's not real life, and so religion really messed them up. Like
I can imagine because
it wasn't honest conversations that they needed to have.
Yeah, because if it take just like I was, I bucked the system. I was, as a teenager, I'm not. I already knew that I wasn't about to be doing that. I'm like, this is not about to be what's up.
My body is telling us we talked.
Yeah,
and we decided we ready.
Actually, for me, it was more of a forced thing anyway. Because I remember in 5th grade, I was like, this don't even make sense, And hey, for those of you who might be out there, hey, if it's rocking for you, I'm rolling for you. But for me, it just wasn't gonna work. And I remember even talking to an old close friend of mine, and he was like, matter of fact, I'll use me first. So when I got in quote unquote trouble for having sex within the Jehovah's Witness organization, they sit you down, you be with these old men, and they be asking you all these weird questions like, so did you penetrate? How long did you penetrate? And what did she do once you? And I'm like, this is like a little, this like. None of this is biblical. This is just like
people.
Yeah, So it was, and then a friend of mine told me that you're not supposed to be giving oral, and I'm like, what? So you got to wait until you're 55 until you find the right person, and then by the time you find it, like you said, 32 years old, your brain done already told, I want to say the hood word, but I'm gonna say the technical word. Your brain that told your vagina, hey, look, we probably ain't about to be getting none. So that thing is just like that, And then
we also know how important clitoral stuff is. So they did at the church told you to avoid the thing that brings women the most pleasure. I'm like, so you don't want to master? We're not gonna, Okay, I got it. So and I had to hold on to their principles, and. Because these were instilled beliefs, and I presented enough stuff that, because nowhere in the Bible does it actually say that, but that's a whole nother conversation. But religion is a major backdrop in a lot of people and a lot of the work I do, and undoing a lot of that.
So do you have to do like more research to find out how to? Or is that just at your stage in your career? Is that just a kind of like a thought, like let me get back to you, and we're gonna try to find some more? So,
what I've come to believe more times than not is people who do come and want a better relationship, and sex therapy is a big. We encompass a lot from communication and intimacy and desire and own it and body and self, and just how we body positivity and like all in sex. But what is also important, and again, erectile dysfunction and all of those things, come into play. But people they want pleasure. Period. They want to feel good. And so the messages are not as important as them wanting to be better. And so they're willing to undo a lot of it themselves because they have a goal in mind. Because you're not paying for sex therapy and not being willing to go, okay, never mind, screw that. What you say? Because I'm paying for this.
Question for the people. is sex therapy covered by insurance, and how much is sex therapy?
Here we go. I was hoping. I was waiting on that one. So, insurance does not. Insurance is tricky. Sex therapy is not covered. Let me be kind of clear.
Okay.
I'm not gonna, unless I can find something else happening. Maybe you have an anxiety disorder, because insurance will cover depression, anxiety, ADHD.
Hint, hint, people.
Right.
Help
So
y'all.
you got to come going. I am highly nervous and anxious, and I worry a lot, and it's hard for me to concentrate. And it can be because I'm not having sex. But you better tell me enough that makes the insurance go okay. Because I cannot say your problem is erectile dysfunction. I cannot say your penis won't get up enough or you're ejaculating too fast. Insurance is like, okay, you want
So
me?
she can't lie for you. You have to have the story together already. Do a little research. Google.
So-
I'm having strong anxiety, and I think that it might be affecting my
Right.
sex life as well.
Right, and so I'm preoccupied, or it's my relation. Like you got to have some other stuff. Like it's making me sad. I cry a lot. Like whatever's happening, it needs to be something happening that is diagnosable. Otherwise, no, it is not covered. And so most of us actually don't take insurance in a lot of because it's
pointless.
we're not you're in. And I want to add it's a fine line, because insurance, while we think we got some HIPAA rights and some, we don't. Like
Right.
if I diagnose you with anything, anxiety,
I wanna know.
depression, then understand if you have an insurance policy, your rates will go up, your premiums go up, like insurance, like life insurance. Those type of policies, they go up because you are now a liability and a risk. Like if you're depressed, then you're more likely to kill yourself. And so if you're more likely to kill yourself, then that insurance policy is like, whoa, we might have to pay out quicker. So we going to go on ahead and make sure we getting
That
our
makes
money in these premiums right here in case that depression kicks in and that anxiety and they can't manage themselves. We got
Or
to
find any way to drive.
because right, exactly. Insurance is not here to actually help you. It's not their
Right.
goal. It's to protect them and make money. Insurance literally is a money maker, like your
Oh,
car
yeah.
insurance.
Yeah.
It's not actually it.
Because you got people that never get in an accident.
Exactly. It feeds on the idea you will just pay for it forever. Not that you actually need it.
Right.
So they look for reasons. So it's a fine line in how you use insurance, and so we tend to not accept it, and prices are interesting. So it depends on the market. I try, because I only work with Black and brown people, and I only work with queer people, that I try to be as close to respected to where I should be, but what I think this community in this city can afford.
So, just to backtrack, you only work with Black or brown queer people.
No, Black and brown and queer.
Okay.
All of any combination or sort.
Got you. As long as you're black
Yeah.
and brown.
Yeah, I mean, I do
could be queer or
have
straight.
some other clients. I market. Let me say, I market to only one particular, with certain types of demographics, because they people. They got ways to get help. We
right.
don't. So I work really hard to market to mine. To where I am. Like, you should see my face because I look like you.
Right.
So in those and then in this city, I work to keeping a price that is fair to my skill, to my level of education, but also comfortable to what people can afford.
And you all can inbox her on a personal level if you want to find out exactly.
Yeah. And
how
I do some sliding scales, and there are some ways that makes it doable, but it is. I'm a specialty practice. I'm a specialty group, like in any specialty. Like, you can go to your regular doctor for free, and your annual is great, but let's say you want to go over to the orthopedic surgeon over at Northwestern. He's specialty, like that special
Right.
one. That special one is different from
Okay.
from the regular, and I am quote unquote different.
Okay. So, quick question before we wrap it up, and it's not quick question, but you could elaborate.
Okay.
But I'll say the final question. So, let's just say we want to go and, me and my partner, we want to go and have some fun.
Yeah.
What are beginner choices for fun to kind of explore?
Have y'all played like card games yet? Like some of the freaky kind of card games? Have we already did that?
Hold on. No.
Oh, okay. Then don't go nowhere. We need to know y'all can do some of this stuff like together alone before y'all walk outside.
Okay.
So Amazon got Amazon got 1,000,001 different fun, kinky sex card games, and we should do those first to even see how exploratory, how spontaneous, like how vulnerable we willing to be, how risky we gotta.
These are like questionnaire cards.
Yeah,
like,
you know they fun. Like they like it's like truth or dare, but for couples in a fun way. Like it's a whole bunch of them. Amazon just literally put in sex games for couples. Like something's coming up. There's gonna be enough that comes up. We should do those. Don't
so
go
that's
outside.
Kind of like a door opener for.
Yeah, let's know what we can actually do because I don't want to go outside and be like, let's run naked in front of this building and. Then you mad because they didn't want to run naked in front of the building. They was too vulnerable. They feel they fat. And like, let's know what we can do. Like, where are we open? Like, where are the boundaries in the house before we go out the house? And out the house, I mean, sky's the limit. I mean, something as simple as car sex.
First thing is card games. Amazon.
Yeah, just do
your card games.
Then go have some car sex somewhere. Pull over on the side of the road. And be willing, can you do that? Because honestly, like, and that's still private. We want to still make sure y'all can manage bigger.
Okay.
Bigger is like places,
Other people
around. Like, please, y'all. And I know, threesomes and the cool things that we all fantasize about. I don't anymore. You got
to work your way up into that.
Work your way. Please don't.
Because the worst thing that you could do is to be.
Don't do it.
People.
Don't do it. It's not time. Let me get you there. Let me.
Yeah.
Take time.
And that's what this is about. That's why I wanted to ask ground questions because people, we could talk about all the other, kinky stuff, but for some people that don't even have communication and they don't know how to say that they want certain stuff, like that card game is like, that's the beginning fundamentals of you all.
You'll be
especially
amazed.
if you don't communicate.
I've watched a lot of couples pull out one card and they never got to the second because they had so much conversation that happened. Like they was like, what you don't actually like or you don't really want to do, like in that. So they're very like, let's learn each other. Let's really let's stay in the house.
Because you might find out that you was doing something that you thought was getting them on, but it really wasn't. They're like, oh, I really don't really like that. I thought you liked it because you keep doing it.
Yeah, don't leave the house yet. Let's just stay in the house, and then even if you leave the house, still stay just y'all. We still ain't ready.
Right.
Nobody, no people, no things, no places. Like we gonna contain for a minute because I don't want to ruin a relationship just because you had a spontaneous thought. Because
it might not just happen. You know what I'm saying? Y'all might find out that y'all just don't have that type of chemistry to be doing certain things, because some of y'all is with some crazy people.
And some fantasies are just fantasy.
Yeah.
Some things actually don't need to, you realize like, it's just a fantasy. Like a rape fantasy. Like, I know that's a hard one, but women do have rape fantasies.
Right.
They don't want to be raped in real life.
Right.
It's a fantasy, or like, so there is a line in knowing like, oh, okay, I'm just going to keep this here and we only do this.
Right.
We don't do that. We do this. And that's okay.
And for some of you guys that, because, of course, for guys, it's just so simple. And, for those of you just want the threesome, but you don't know how to, some women are not up for threesomes, but they might be up for a verbal threesome. Like, hey, she might let you talk about the other person, but she just ain't, trying to do that.
That sounds mean, but okay. Why would he want to have this whole conversation about something he can't?
Hey,
again, if we just talking fantasy, it's fantasy versus the actual want. That's dangerous. But
yeah,
we'll
say that one.
I'm gonna say threesomes is a whole. It's a whole
you
conversation
gotta
all by
I should have
itself.
brought that up because you got to bring the cards in first. Y'all got to find out where y'all are exactly.
That's a whole. Ooh.
Yeah, we're gonna say that one for next month. So what we got here, people, is we got sensual touch.
It's so important.
It's a recap, and then we talked about the surrogate sex.
We did talk about
people.
sexual surrogates.
And then we have the cars. I want you all to focus on the cars first. If you're having, a little bit of difficulty.
And communication, like
Yeah, that
asking
part.
questions, like regular
Yeah.
questions each week would be
and
good.
and maybe and I want to say that this is kind of an advanced podcast, meaning that I would kind of prefer if you have good communication already. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately that's going to be everything. Like if you can,
For sure.
Just tell this person that you want to go out tonight, then all of this, what we're talking about, this is going to be way out your league anyway.
Yeah.
If you're scared to tell them, hey, I just want to go
out
with my
by
boys,
myself.
then don't even pay no attention
You
to this.
turn this whole thing off.
Yeah, I have to bring in another person for you for
Let's
that.
turn this whole
This
thing
is for
off.
the fun people, or trying to be fun people.
Yeah.
But
Call me. We need some therapy.
Honest-
Couple needs
yeah.
some therapy. We need to do relationship counseling, not sex therapy, but relationship.
Right. So, basics. If you have good communication and you want to, kind of explore, and maybe both of you all then already had the conversation, or maybe you trying to find a way to spark the conversation. Hey, babe, I got these cards. You want to, play, and this is all talk. This is that's why I'm glad I got this professional with me, because I don't want y'all trying to sue me. Shit,
I don't want to be sued either. The hell? I too pay for liability insurance that I never want to use.
Right. No, but this is just things to help you all. You know what I'm saying? So the cars, get the cars, and kind of explore, and see where it takes you.
And talk.
Yeah.
Couples need to talk.
Yeah.
If you ain't risking it all and asking regular everyday questions, it's gonna fail.
Yeah, because you gotta ask some
You want to try this?
some
You
out
like
of the
this? You
box
want this?
questions. You know what I'm saying? And as they say, if you're scared, go to church. So.
For therapy.
But yeah, I guess that's about the gist of it. So we're gonna wrap this thing up, and we will be back next month.
Yeah.
And we'll collaborate with some things on. If you all have some specific topics, then you all can shoot a message in the inbox. The next time we're here, or I'll probably have it before then.
You can go to my IG and also put them in there for now.
Okay.
So until the email is set up.
So what is your IG?
Dr. Eat Pray Kink. Dr. Eat EAT Pray PRAY Kink KINK. One word.
There you go.
You'll see a lot of naked images. If you see a lot of nudity, then you're on the right page.
It's not X and XX. Don't expect
No,
to
it's
be
not that.
putting in your special, request. It's
No.
just she just got naked.
It's a lot of nudity, but it's a lot of education. My page is entirely educational, just with naked bodies.
Okay. Hey, y'all got that. So you can send your requests for topics or questions. And she'll look at them, and we'll, even if you wasn't, able to put your question here, you can send them to her or send them to me, and we'll discuss it the next time around. And I will inform you all about the next date when she will be here next month.
Yeah.
But she will be here once a month.
I will.
She has told me that, and I am going to keep her to it.
I will.
And
It's cool.
if she isn't here, then
I'm here. I'll be here.
there'll be some more pictures.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe out there. It's a Memorial Day weekend. Don't drink and drive, all that other good stuff. And we will see you with Miss Kres next month.
Bye.